Hello and welcome to the Spaghetti Junction podcast. My name is Bruce,
My name's Gareth.
and in the spirit of what we're talking about, let's get ready to rumble.
Rumble.
There
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good start.
you go.
We're talking about many things. That's a very good start. Yeah. I think it'll be like a very short intro because we've got a lot to talk about, and this fight is coming up. This will be posted just before the fight night. So
Right.
that's pretty cool.
Cool.
We're trying to keep
Awesome.
on top of things once in a while,
Yes.
releasing things on time. So
Yeah.
let's see how this works out. So I just wanted to share because I was having a chat. I think I mentioned in one of the podcasts that I was going to go to Coldplay. I've been to Coldplay
Correct.
before in Johannesburg at Soccer
Right.
City. That was
Yes.
insane. That was like 66. I think it was about 80,000. It was crazy. It was amazing. This
Okay.
one was at Eden Park in Auckland.
Yes.
And it's the first band to do 3 consecutive sold out shows at Eden Park.
Wow. That's crazy. Hey?
Huge. They only came in
3 sold out.
to do 1 concert, and then they bumped it to 2, bumped it to 3. So it's
Amazing.
boom. It's crazy. So I just wanted to like share. The one thing that was amazing was which I've seen on their live shows, for example, on the YouTube stuff. Is all these lights going on. Like, how do you do these lights? So when you come in, you get this white bracelet. I might even have a little picture quickly. Give me a chance. No, it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't stress about that. But basically, it's a white bracelet with a very thick top on that, like that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like that big.
Mhm.
And basically everybody has those. And at certain times in certain songs, there's a system. I don't know freaking how they do it, but the lights just boom, and they linking to the actual track, to the actual songs.
Oh,
Because I
wow.
also realized, and because I also realized, which I probably already knew, but when you're watching them live, you realize that part of what they're playing is part of a track.
Yes.
Which I didn't really think about until I was watching them. It's like, oh yeah, because if they had to have all the extra stuff in the background, they would probably have to have 1, if not 2 more people on keys and so forth. So, but it just made me think how good they are to follow a track. I mean, I'm sure they've been doing it for years. This tour has been going on for about 2 years, I think.
The whole thing of getting of a group of musicians then following a set track, that does take practice. They're probably all listening to the click track, so they know exactly the timing and everything.
Yeah.
And when we've done it, when I did it in the past,
Oh yeah.
the way we did it was our drummer listened to the click track, and we followed the drummer.
Oh, you follow the drummer, okay.
Which was, which I feel is better than all of us listening to the click. People have different preferences. I just prefer listening to the drummer. I know that I'm good enough to follow the drummer if the drummer is following the click properly. So that's not an issue. But it depends on how these guys work. And then with rehearsal, then the whole show is probably just set. It's set to that. There's all kinds of stuff running behind the scenes, and that they're hearing in their ear monitors that you're not hearing, and that just runs seamlessly. It's pretty amazing how it works.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me just play. And now bear in mind, it is obviously on a phone, so it's not incredible footage. It's just to give you, an idea of what,
get a good idea.
Just a feel for it. Hold on, I'm just going to pop up something on the screen here. Give me a chance. There we go. really rad, eh? I mean, it's just done so well. It's just done so, like it's it's just crazy.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm just trying to find some photos quickly to show you as well, and I should have actually prepped them earlier. Oh, there we go. Let me get back to my normal screen with you. Yes. The best way that I could describe it is that the concept that if heaven had a party when you arrived, it would be close to that. It would be close. Obviously, Coldplay isn't a Christian, blah, 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 blah. The point being the feel and the environment and the, dude, it's just happiness it was 2 hours solid. Bam. And they began at 8:15, which is when the science said it would, and bam, 9:15. So, and they didn't do an encore. They just ended tight, but it was really, really good. Yeah. So it's just a happy vibe. As nice. Brendan says, it's not a real band, but he's a metal freak, so I think Copy is a band. Music-wise as well, they don't play a huge amount of stuff, you know, as in like amazing leads and drum solos, but they're very tight band.
No,
very good.
No, they've always just been a pop band. They're not. Yeah. It's always about the songs. It's about the electronic elements.
Yeah,
they've cultivated a very distinctive sound. Love them or hate them, you can recognize when it's Coldplay.
Yes, exactly, 100%.
You know, Chris Martin's got a very, very distinctive voice. So you know, respect to them. And yeah, I mean, like I've said to you before, I really regret not going to that Coldplay concert in Joburg. Because I saw the DVD of it when it came out of that tour. And I was like, oh, flip, I missed out. So anyway.
Hold on, I'm just trying to see.
But no, yeah, man, I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, no, I did. I won't go through all the photos. But yeah, man, cool. It was incredible. I actually was going to go again, but I couldn't find a cheap enough ticket to go again.
Okay.
No, it was that good. That
cool.
Even though you knew all the songs, if you're passionate about them, like I am, it was great. I did tell you it was probably the best concert that I've ever been to. It's very close with U2 as well. Their 360 tour, which was incredible.
Yes.
But as like you know, entertainment, and it's just a happy vibe the whole way through. Family friendly, which is also why they do well. That was just an incredible concert. Incredible concert.
Nice. Brilliant.
Anyways, so Hail to the metal, people. This is a fun one. I'm interested to hear what you're going to say.
Talking about sold out crowds,
big shows,
and big stadiums.
Oh yeah, we have. I think what most are saying it's a bit of a circus event. I think
in a lot of ways, yes.
If you follow boxing,
I will agree with it.
And legitimate boxing, you will probably know who Mike Tyson is. This other little dude called Jake Paul. If you don't know him, I'm pretty sure you will. He began as a Disney actor, and then grew into social media, doing stupid ass stuff like his brother Logan Paul. And then just went to a point from what I was reading, he got to a point where the fame became so big that he actually was that his family was concerned that he was going to be suicidal. And he basically looked for an exit. He basically looked for a way that he could get out of that kind of place he was, which was quite a dark place. And he got into boxing, and some of his family said, you know, where he was saying that boxing saved his life, and that's kind of like how we got into boxing. I want to I'll leave it to you for a while.
Yeah.
I want to go through all his fights. I want to break down his fights and why boxing is probably not legitimate as in boxing level as to taking on real boxers. So I want to bring that in. Obviously, Mike Tyson's record. Yeah. It's the first, love or hate Jake Paul. I think more hate than love him. He's very good at what he does. He's a businessman. He knows how to. He knows how to create create moments and media. He's very, very clever at what he does. Very smart. The company that is basically hosting, whatever you want to call it, running the actual event of Mike Tyson and Jake Paul / everybody else on the undercard, that's called MVP, which is Most Valuable Promotions. And that is a company that Jake Paul and his business partner formed. It's now at a point where they basically headline and they run certain big events, which is crazy when you think about it, from a Disney star to owning this huge company that just runs most valuable promotions. They have a few people now on their roster, who they sponsor. There's an up-and-coming fighter, I believe is from Brazil. Oh, there's a fighter on the undercard who is from India, who is he's a pretty decent fighter. He is underneath the what's the hell I'm talking about? He is basically in the stable of MVP. And a cool story about that guy, very quickly. He's a boxer that was doing pretty well in India, a pretty decent record. He wasn't known as well as he probably should have been. So he buys a ticket and air ticket to Puerto Rico, and ends up at the gate of Jake Paul's $20-something million mansion, and gets himself randomly invited in. And from that chance of him, like, you know what, I'm just going to fly across the world and screw it. The worst it could be is like, just leave me alone. You freak. Yeah. Because of all that, he's now on the Most Valuable Promotion roster, and he is on the undercard of Mike Tyson fighting. So I don't think everybody who runs to Jake Paul's gate is going to get any luck. Just seemed to work out for this guy that it worked out. His initial thing was he just wanted to go there and fight Jake Paul just once, just for the hell of it, just to show that that he was a boxer. From that, he's now on the undercard with a Mike Tyson fight.
It's amazing. I didn't know that. I had not heard that story. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Gee.
So that's Most Valuable Promotions, a little bit of history with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll let you chat about your feelings, and like I say, I'll bring in the backgrounds a little bit to the records, to the fight history of both fighters. But that's not the major issue. That's not the major thing. The major thing is Jake Paul.
What the hell is this?
Fighting Mike Tyson,
a YouTuber
on a non-pay-per-view
on Netflix,
fully on Netflix. I think it's the first major fight like that has not been a pay-per-view. Basically, if you own Netflix, you can watch it.
You can watch it. Yeah.
How?
I think
savvy.
I think if I end up waking up early enough without any help tomorrow morning, I've got access to someone's Netflix account, which I hardly use, but I might just jump on, and otherwise I'll watch it on YouTube when I wake up And don't message
Well,
me
I
and tell
mean,
me anything.
no, I won't. I
Because
won't.
I'm gonna
Now,
watch it
now,
myself.
now,
But
officially for you in South Africa, it starts at 3 a.m., but it's a whole
I remember you
undercard
saying,
and a dual main event as well. So my thought is only going to be getting into the
right?
major fights about 6-7 o'clock.
Yeah, it's the
Your
problem. I'm
your
already
time.
starting to get up and ready for work and stuff. So I might not.
So
Oh
it might
well,
be.
whatever. We'll see.
I would say probably about 6 o'clock. It'll at the earliest will probably be 6 o'clock. Your time, which is
Oh,
what's
yeah,
nice for me is I don't work on Saturday. I can actually finally get to see a huge boxing match because normally I couldn't because of the whole
yeah,
time difference.
work
It's
thing. Yeah,
2 p.m. for me on Saturday, which is great. Right, carry on, sir.
nice. Okay, so I was fortunate enough to be able to see the first 2 episodes of the Netflix documentary, which I wasn't expecting to see. I went to my friends Nikki and Damien for dinner, and Damien's like,
Yeah.
"Dude, have you seen this documentary?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Sit
Really?
your ass
That's
down. We're
interesting.
watching this."
No shit.
Because
I would never have thought
him and
that.
Nikki love that stuff. Him and Nikki love
Really?
that stuff. So we watched 2 of the 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately I had to leave. But and obviously watching some of the stuff that you sent me. Look, I think I respect to Jake Paul because I think the boxing bug has bitten him seriously and he wants to be taken seriously as a fighter. It's definitely something, like you're saying, it's something that he really has put his all into it. He really has. Um, uh, However, with wanting to be taken seriously, I don't think
Hold on.
he's quite going about it the right
Ho-
way.
ho- Okay.
And I think he's bitten off a little bit more than he can chew.
Okay, you're breaking up there
And
quite a lot.
so yeah, Mike Tyson's intensity is next level. The fact that he can tap into that after, oh dear, okay.
Okay. No, I can
Um,
hear you now. It's fine.
am I good?
Yeah,
Am
yeah.
I good? Am I
You're
there?
fine now.
Okay, cool. I think, yeah, Mike Tyson, the fan, get back to that and watching his training.
Nope.
I don't know. I'd be a bit worried.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's where my
so I have a very set view as to who I think is going to win it, and I'll break it down why.
okay.
But
Okay.
yes, your point on Jake Paul wanting to be taken seriously as a boxer, he has this whole thing in his head that he's going to become a world champion, which I think is great to dream, but I think that's only going to be a dream. And the main issue why he hasn't been taken seriously is that all of his fights, except one, have been against non-boxers. What he does is he handpicks
Correct.
the fighters who he knows the chance of him losing is very slim because of their age, especially their ages, and because of their fighting code. So, at this point, Jake Paul has he's had 10 fights, one loss with 7 knockouts. Sounds impressive. Let me just break it down a little bit. He first of all fought Anderson Gibb. That was his first fight way back in 2020. That was a YouTuber. Nate Robinson, who he knocked out like in the first minute, he was a basketball player. Ben Askren, an older, I wouldn't say washed up, but a very older, MMA fighter. Tyron Woodley, who he fought twice. That was a decent fight. But again, Tyron Woodley is not a boxer. He's from UFC. Anderson Silva was an interesting one. Anderson Silva, if you do know MMA and everything, he's one of the best fighters ever to have graced UFC. He has a record for the most consecutive wins, and he has a record for the longest winning streak. That was going to be a decent fight, but Anderson Silva, I believe, was in his 40s. Jake Paul is early 20s. Andre August, who was a boxer, who was all touted as being a big boxer, unheard of boxer, not really heard of, Jake Paul kind of sorted him out pretty fast. Then there was Ryan Boland, and then the last one that he fought was in let me see what date that was, the 20th of July. It's a fighter called Mike Perry. Now, Mike Perry was an interesting one. Mike Perry is a champion in like a reasonably, I would say, a newish sport. That's a sport that's getting new attention. Which is bare knuckle fighting. So no gloves, no nothing. You just basically step in the ring and get the shit crapped out of you. Oh yeah, it's I would never. So just for someone to even do that, it's insane. My head goes off. He was the champion. He basically was the best that there was. So that was going to be an interesting fight. But again, they don't wear boxing gloves. So you throw Mike Perry, who is bare knuckles, throw some heavy ass gloves on him, and expect him to do a show and to put on like a good fight with Jake Paul, and it really wasn't. The only boxer, like legit boxer, was Tyson Fury's brother, or half brother actually, called Tommy Fury. His claim to fame, Tommy Fury, is that he was on Love Island, which is a reality TV show. So he wasn't even like a.
Oh, I know about
you know
Love
what I
Island.
mean? Oh no, it's terrible. I don't even know about it. All I know is I've heard it's terrible. Yeah. So that was his first like real fight with the boxer, and he didn't win. He lost it. So here we go now to our conversation of Mike Tyson, and again, he's chosen it for set reasons. That was a little bit of background to Jake Paul.
Yeah. My thinking was, and this was good because during watching the documentary, I had an interesting chat with Damien about this, because he's a lot more invested in it than I am. He's kind of like more you when it comes to this, what I said to Damien was, there is such an aura or something surrounding the name Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And I said to Damien, it's like Jake Paul's fighting the name, not the man. Or he wants to fight the name Mike, because for a lot of people, I think a lot of people see Mike Tyson as the absolute pinnacle of the sport.
Yeah.
It's like he's the Formula One. He's the Formula One of boxing. And because of his record and stuff like that, and because he was just amazing. And I think it's more of an ego thing. But the problem is, say if you want to be a mountaineer, okay, just track with me on this. If you want to be a mountaineer, you don't strap on a pair of hiking boots, take one hike up the Drakensberg, and then go and climb Mount Everest. Okay, which is I think what Jake Paul is kind of doing.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. I feel if he really legitimately wants to be taken seriously, he should be working his way through the ranks, up through, instead of going straight to the top. And Mike Tyson isn't even at the top. He's retired, for crying out loud.
He's 58.
Yeah, you see, now kudos to Jake Paul for wanting to be taken seriously as a fighter. Great, awesome. but fighters, to be taken seriously, pay their dues. They work up through the ranks, and then they get those big cards. And it's like he's bypassing all of that, which will not, I don't think, will do him any favors within the boxing fraternity if he wants to be taken seriously. And
Sure.
that's the mistake that I think he's making. And yeah, I just he's just not going about it the right way, from my
Okay.
very limited knowledge.
Fair enough. On that comment, um, social media wise, and who Jake Paul is as a brand, the
Yes.
task, I don't see it as a mistake. I see what you're saying as in the boxing world. Fair enough.
Yeah,
On
from
the
a
other
business,
side,
social media, event
not a
planning,
mistake.
amazing.
It is really done. And I will go with you on that one. His problem is that if he does want to be taken seriously, full stop, is he's got to start fighting real boxers. That's the bottom line. That's how. So, and even this fight with Mike Tyson isn't really, to me, this is more of an exhibition than a real boxing match.
Yes, correct.
It's
Correct.
it's not these two pinnacle big ass, like both boxers at their peak fighting the crap out of each other.
It's not that. It's not that. Yeah, you're right.
Jake Paul has just managed to organize an invite from Netflix and from Mike Tyson. Again, business wise, brilliant. He did a bloody good job. His MVP somehow pulled it out the bag to get in Mike Tyson and Netflix. So business wise, he's very savvy.
Yeah.
But I do not see it as a legit boxing match. Now, sadly, it has been made. That the fights will count on both of their records, which I think is
Yes,
stupid.
it's been sanctioned as an official fight.
Sanctioned.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
which I think is absolutely stupid. Because Mike Tyson has a
Yeah.
record of 50,
Yeah.
50 fights with only 4 losses, the majority of knockouts in the first rounds. He's a machine. Now, Baron, now that was obviously years ago, but 50 fights, only 4 losses. The majority of the knockouts were in the first rounds. He was just insane. I watched quite a few of his fights, and it is just, it's mayhem.
Scary.
It's amazing to watch. Oh, it's very scary, very, very scary.
What?
So to have it sanctioned, it just, to me, it really, it kind of slightly sours a boxing reputation if a fight against a Jake Paul, who's not, as you rightly said, who is not a accredited boxer. He hasn't gone through the ranks. He's not really seen as a legitimate boxer. If that's going to go on someone's record, for Jake Paul, here's the problem. Jake Paul, if he loses, he's a laughing, or not a laughing stock, but it's like finally someone's taken down Jake Paul. If he wins, Jake Paul goes down as the idiot who fought a 58-year-old Mike Tyson and knocked him out. And that's also a horrible thing on your record. Either way, it's not going to go well for him.
Yeah. I think Tyson's going to hurt him personally.
Okay.
Just from watching Mike, just from Tyson's, just watching him train, and I can't get over the speed of his, the way he lays into his combinations compared to, I mean, he gets in so close and just like it's a blur at his age, moving that fast. You can't, and then you watch Jake Paul's training, and you just can't compare it. He's, I just, yeah, that's what's, and I think, look, yes, there's the debate of, yeah, Jake Paul's got the youth and the vitality and the energy and that kind of thing, but man alive, I don't think the experience that Mike Tyson has got,
that's a big part, the experience.
And like I said to you earlier, the way he's just tapped back into that intensity, like his mind, his mental, this
That's
I
where
think
he'll
I
win the
think
fight.
mentally,
Is the mental
I
side.
think mentally,
Absolutely.
I think mentally he's in a um he's in a better, yeah, he's mentally superior when it comes to the fight game. He knows, just like I said, just that
Exactly.
experience.
He
He's like
knows about it.
he's drawing on all of that, and really just hope that it's not like rigged in any way, so that and I really
No.
hope it's not. I'm
No, because
trusting that it's not.
the whole thing of rigging is people use that as an excuse for something to happen in the
Okay.
fight. Oh, it was rigged. Oh, it was no. If it's
Okay.
especially if it's sanctioned by the
Yeah. Okay.
boxing
Then it's
federation, there's no ways
yeah.
it can be rigged. So no, let's just throw it out of the window
Okay.
immediately.
Okay.
It can't
Okay.
be
Cool.
rigged.
All right.
And in
Cool. No,
general,
it's
all
fine.
his fights, I'm sure someone say, "Oh, it was rigged." I do not believe that any of his fights, albeit they were mostly not great at all, I do not believe any
Yeah.
of them was rigged. Rigging
Okay.
is it's like if you're playing gaming and you're losing. Oh, you know, it's my internet speed. Oh, there's a lag. No, you just basically sucked at that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's uh yeah. Um yeah, I like you were saying, it is a bit of a circus, and like I'm not even a massive boxing fan. I think you've watched way more boxing than me. You got into it
Mm.
um a little bit more. But it does seem to just be like, yeah, if you want a fight to be, you'd expect a fight of this magnitude if there's going to be like a documentary series on it and the behind the scenes and all of this. It's like you kind of want it to be two
Better have a
fighters
good
that,
fight.
like you were saying, at their absolute peak. Maybe just think if they'd maybe done a Netflix documentary when Manny Pacquiao fought Floyd Mayweather. That was a big fight. I got up early. I stayed over at my
Really?
aunt and uncle's to I
No
stayed over at
shit.
my aunt and uncle's to watch that because I wanted to get up at 3 a.m.
Big one.
I legit wanted to be part of
Wow.
that. Um, you know, Imagine if that had had a Netflix documentary and all of this stuff, and but that
You know what?
was
You
quite a few years ago.
you really bring
But
yeah, you bring up a good point. A very good point is that it has
mm,
been such a background to it. As you say, there's so much hype around it. Even,
the hype
you
is
know,
huge.
like
Yeah.
like what you're saying, like it has a documentary series about it. Jake Paul's MVP, they have a documentary thing going on as well, on
Yes.
YouTube.
Yeah. You.
So there's
Yeah. You sent me some of those.
yeah, and many are saying, which I don't understand, but some like boxing commentators or whatever are many have called it the fight of the century. I'm like, it's being touted as like
No.
one of the biggest fights ever, and I'm like, I think hype wise, yes, media wise, yes. The focus on the whole fight and how it's done is probably been touted and advertised and media the possibly the best like any fight has ever been done. But you can never say that's because Mike Tyson's in there, it's going to be a fight of the century or a fight of the last 10 years. Um, uh, because it's Mike Tyson. You still got Jake Paul in the ring.
Yeah. Let's just be honest. We still have a YouTuber who hasn't paid his dues fighting against a
Yeah.
retired boxer who hasn't fought
30
in how
years
long?
older.
How long has he
He's,
been retired now? Yeah.
he had a fight a few years ago, but
It's
that was more like an exhibition fight.
also,
So, if you
yeah.
want to
Yeah.
actually get like exacts, let me just break down quickly just to answer those questions. His first fight was in, oh wow, his first fight was all the way back in 1985. His last official fight was in 2005 on the 5th of November when he actually lost
Sure.
to a to a TKO. So that's 2005 was his last professional fight. So yeah, you
Sure.
do the maths. It's pretty much 20 years.
Yeah, pretty much 20 years ago. Flip.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
you know,
what is
I think, you
your
know what?
yes, go.
Yeah. No, my fantasy that I run in my head. Do you remember the movie Warrior with Tom
Yeah,
Hardy,
yeah,
the MMA movie? Have you
yeah,
watched
yeah.
Warrior?
Again,
Remember
because it
here
was
how his character would. Remember how his character he would just walk into the ring, knock the guy out, and just walk out
walk out
in
again.
front of like thousands of people. Yeah, if Tyson did that, that would be that's
That
my
was the best.
fantasy of
Like
Tyson walking
literally
in,
5 seconds, hits him once and then walks
knocking
out.
him out, and just walking out. Yeah,
That would be
like all of that
insane.
money, all of those people paid all of that money to come and see that. I'm like, seriously, it's over, and it's been all this hype, and suddenly Mike Tyson just walks in there,
That'd be funny.
boom, like, okay, bye, and be like,
So now,
screw you, bye.
as we're winding up,
But it's not going to
what
happen
is
because they're going to
your
put on a show.
no? What is your prediction? And then I'll give you mine.
I think Tyson is going to take it because of the experience, because of his mental attitude. Yeah, I think he's going to take it. I would like him to take it. I think as seriously as Jake Paul wants to be taken, I think he does need to be taken down a peg or two.
Oh yeah.
I think he needs to understand the reality, and he has not been hit by Mike Tyson. He's been hit a lot, but he hasn't been hit by Mike Tyson, even though Mike Tyson is that much older.
Yeah.
I think Jake Paul is going to be in for a rough time, personally. So that's my thing.
Okay. My thoughts.
What do you think?
As we're going to wrap it up, before I give you my final thought,
Yeah.
the fight that I'm looking more forward to than the Jake Paul Tyson fight, because I mean it's going to be fun, but I'm looking more forward to the co-main event, which is Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. They put on a fight, and if you're going to say a women's fight of the century, I would agree with a fight of a century between two women boxers. They were the first. It was the first boxing match to sell out Madison Square Garden that was headlined by female boxers. So first time that's ever happened, and that was just, if you want to watch a good boxing match of quality and skill and tenacity and just full out like blood, sweat, and literally blood, sweat, and tears. Whoever's listening or watching this, you need to go back and watch the first fight. That was 2 years ago. Insane. Amanda Serrano has got multiple titles. She's from Puerto Rico.
I watched the highlights. I watched.
Sorry, you're breaking up.
That highlights video that you sent me.
Okay, and it's bad. Oh yeah, no, it's just pale to. Anyways, so she's from Puerto Rico. She has multiple titles. I feel if you hate Jake Paul, the one thing you have to give him credit for is that he got Amanda Serrano from her background, drew her into MVP, where she's now part of the roster, where she had won multiple titles. She was struggling just to get any form of decent pay, and she was one of the best boxers in Puerto Rico. He pulled her across, and he was part of the reason why the Katie Taylor Serrano fight happened at Madison Square Garden. So even if you hate him, he has done something good for boxing. Hasn't involved him specifically fighting, but he's done something really good for the sport of boxing, female boxing wise. And that was just and then Katie Taylor, I love Katie Taylor. She's not a showman. She says enough she basically says her piece and then does it. She's just like, done. This is how I feel. Let's fight. She's from Ireland, their best boxer. And this is now the second fight, basically fight night 2. Serrano 2. If the first fight was very, very close and it could have gone either way, it's went Taylor's way. Obviously, Serrano's like, well, I won it. Doesn't matter. Amazing fight. If Serrano wins this fight and gets the I don't know if it's the featherweight or the lightweight, but anyway, and gets the world title from Katie Taylor, there will be a third fight. What's exciting about the third fight is it's going to be held in one of the most iconic stadiums in Dublin, Ireland. And that in itself is even worth tantalizing. Like, okay, so Serrano, please win it, because number 3 is just going to be like the ultimate showdown. Either way, I think that there probably will be a third fight, but this second fight is going to be a big one. It's going to be as big as the first fight.
Okay.
So I'm more looking forward to watching that fight than this Tyson Fury Jake Paul fight. That's just my honest truth.
Okay. Cool. Well, considering those highlights of their fight at Madison Square Garden, that was impressive.
They're amazing. Like,
yes,
amazing.
That fifth round, how they were going
where they were both at each other, like they were just both throwing punches.
Holy crap, dude.
Back and forth. There wasn't a break between punch, step back, punch. They were just throwing punches together.
Yeah.
Insane. Amazing. Yeah. That's boxing.
You could see how you could see how Taylor was floundering it a little bit, and then she came back, and then she ended up winning. I thought Serrano was going to take it.
Yeah. That was why I was like very. So to me, that's if you, as a viewer on Netflix, whoever you are, and you want to see a real boxing match, you can even miss the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. If you're going to choose one fight to watch out of the whole card, and by the way, there are some really good fighters in the undercard. If you really want to watch what boxing is, watch Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. That is boxing. Cool. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, I do not want to give it the accreditation that the boxing organization has given it. I really don't get it. It just makes no sense. Sadly, here's my view as we wrap it up. Probably controversial. I believe that somehow Jake Paul is going to pull it off. I believe even though Mike Tyson does have the experience, he does have mental strength. Jake Paul is very clever in getting into boxers' minds. At the weigh-in recently, I think it was actually today, at the weigh-in, there was a face-off between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Jake Paul does something, I don't know exactly what he said, but he got Mike Tyson so angry that he slapped him. He gave him such a it wasn't even a punch. It was an open slap. And just for a moment, Jake Paul didn't know what was going on. But the point is, he got to Mike Tyson. That's what he does. Jake Paul's very good at getting to it. He gets into other people's faces. He's very good at that. So Mike Tyson's angry, which is good. This is what he needs to be. But sometimes, if you're too angry, it's going to cloud part of your fighting. So I believe he'll win it, just not by knockouts. I don't think he might get one lucky shot, but somehow to drop Mike Tyson, I don't think so. Why I think he might win is because of Mike Tyson's age. He's only been back training for a few months, where Jake Paul has been training and fighting for the last 3 or 4 years. He's faster. He's younger. He has more energy to him. The reason why they've the fights, the gloves are much heavier gloves, and the rounds are shorter. And this is to compliment Mike Tyson, I believe.
Right.
So I think it'll be close. What I would love to see is Mike Tyson just finishing, as you say, Jake Paul off, just like shut the hell up. There's a problem also. If Jake Paul wins this, he will forever flout, even if he never boxes real boxes ever, that he beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And for that, social media was screwed because he will never let anybody. Oh, fine. You know what, Dave? I would never. Oh, so you think that I won't fight boxers? I fight Mike Tyson. What else do I have to prove? That's my concern.
Yeah.
And also my concern with that Mike Tyson will he get his only 5th loss in 50 matches, in 50 fights against Jake Paul. That will be sad. And again, as I was saying to you, with all his previous fights, Jake Paul is clever. He always handpicks people that he researches that he knows the chance of him losing are minor. So why do you think he wouldn't have done it with Mike Tyson? Jake Paul's not stupid. He's not stupid. As much as people don't like him, as much as people rag on him, and as much people think he's an idiot, if you look at all his fights up to now, how clever he has picked his fights, besides the Fury fight. But then going on to the point that you had brought up, though, Mike Tyson is a boxer. And I like what you said to me. Mike Tyson has had 50 fights. He has experience of real boxing. Jake Paul does not. So if I was pushed, I would say Jake Paul will somehow get it, but it'll be very minute. It'll be very close. If it does get to the scorecards, I think Jake Paul will get it. If he doesn't last to the scorecards, Mike Tyson should. Mike Tyson needs to knock him out in the first 2 rounds. Okay, this is now I think it's 8 rounds of 2-minute fights. The longer the fights go on, the rounds go on, the more that they both have to tap into their energy and their training. We have Jake Paul, who's 27, at the peak of his fighting career. He's super fit, super lean, knows exactly what to do. The longer that the fight goes on, I believe the less chance Mike Tyson has to win the fight. What he has to do, which I believe Jake Paul is already going for, is that the first 2 rounds, Mike Tyson is just going to come out like aggressive, fast, angry, and just going pedal to the metal, because he knows after round 3 or 4, the energy level, the strength that he does have, he will not have as much power as he does in the first 2 rounds, where Jake Paul will last up to round 6 or 7. And the one thing he does have is his left hook. It is super strong. Just takes one shot. So Tyson's role, first 2 rounds, he has to come out hard. Problem is, Jake Paul knows that's what Mike Tyson is going to do. So this is why it's an interesting fight. It's very, very interesting. That is my thoughts. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Paul just needs to sort himself out and stop. Well, he can now say that he is now fighting real boxers. So he's fighting Mike Tyson. I hope Mike Tyson sorts
Don't get more real than this, bro.
No, exactly. If you want to fight a boxer, you gone for the biggest one in the book. Sorry, I know we need to finish. I do like what you said to me about. I do like what you said about that he is somehow fighting the world's best boxer and hasn't gone through the ranks whatsoever. The respect level for him, if he wins or he loses, I think it's going to be at the same level until he starts. I mean, the many other top boxers who wish that they could have fought Mike Tyson. Obviously now they couldn't because it's 20 years ago, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Point being that he has a chance to be with Mike Tyson on the same friggin' ring. As Katie Taylor said it so well, she says she's just fortunate and blessed, and she cannot believe that she is on the fight card with the great Mike Tyson. And that was like, that's it. That's like, drop the mic, everything's finished. Thank you
Yeah.
for watching. So I will definitely be watching it.
Cool. Yeah. If I'm up, I will. But other than, but I'm sure as soon as
I
I
doubt
switch
it.
on YouTube, I'll see thumbnails and all kinds of stuff. So no, I'll see
Well,
stuff on YouTube already.
Well, you know what I'll do? I won't tell you what's going on. I will basically send you a message at the time that the fight begins. That's all I'm going to do. Just so you know, oh, okay, that
Oh,
time
cool. Okay.
that time is when they began their fights. It's now an hour later. I can probably blah blah blah. And if you do get onto Netflix, you can, even if you want to, you can go on Netflix and you can
Okay.
rewind it to where the fight began. So that's also a way of doing it. I don't think you can actually because
Okay.
it's live.
Do me a favor, if you're going to send me
anyways,
I don't know. Would you do me a favor when the female fight starts? Can you
that's the fight
can you let me know about that one as well? Interesting to see that one as well. I can't guarantee I'll be able to, but
okay,
I'll watch later if I can, and then we can have a chat about that as well.
all right, brilliant. This has been a much longer podcast, but the passions are strong.
Yeah, it's been
especially
a good chat
with me.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting a little bit more into it myself.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth it. I was going to say write in the comments as to who you think will win, but probably when you've watched this, you either it's just before the fight or it's just after. So hey, have your views in general between Serrano and Taylor and Fury and not Fury. Yes.
Tyson.
Tyson
Mike Tyson
and Jake Paul. Yeah, Fury. Where the heck did I get? Oh, Tyson 3. Mike Tyson. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yes. There we go. Boom. Let's go.
Cool. Well, this has been the Spaghetti Junction podcast. My name is Bruce. His name is Gareth. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, comments. Let us know your thoughts. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
See you later.